Hi, we're on cue.
I'm Liz. I'm a music supervisor.
I'm Trish. I'm a film director, and we are going to dish about music and movies and life. And today we have a really, really fun, interesting special guest. Her name is KÁRYYN. She is a music producer, writer, songwriter, composer, singer, performer,
visual artist,
a maker of the things.
Yeah.
Welcome, KÁRYYN.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for saying my name well. Really well.
I was trying. Did I say it close enough?
It didn't even sound like you were trying. KÁRYYN.
Really?
Yeah, that's really good.
KÁRYYN.
Thank you. It's a beautiful name.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Thank you.
Does it mean something? I mean, I don't know what that name in various languages means.
KÁRYYN is a area, it's a city, ancient city in Armenia.
No kidding.
And Kar, the first part of my name, means rock. And the Karun, which is like a different version of the name, means spring. But the way I got named is hilarious.
Let's hear it.
It's not because it's like an Armenian city of, no, my mom, I was like arriving. She's like, no, I need to like keep doing the laundry and folding and whatever. My dad gets home. He's like, we got to go to the hospital.
Right.
Store me outside. It's last minute. Like I'm coming out. And they're like, they didn't know what I was because every time they did the ultrasound, they couldn't see. So last minute, they're like, you're having a girl. And I think they thought like they were going to name me my mom's dad's name. And my mom's, give me a book. And we're in Alabama. And they give her some American name book. And she opens it. And she's like, okay, it's K. And she puts her name, like her finger on Caroline. She says, no. And then she just closes her eyes, puts her finger on another one. It's Karen. And she's like, well, no, but there's an Armenian named KÁRYYN. And that's how I became KÁRYYN.
I love that.
But it defines my whole life. That last minute, what's it going to be? And then I arrive kind of thing.
But I mean, there's something quite divinatory about put your finger on a thing in a book and let that be the truth. So I quite like that surrendering to what fate is going to do.
Yeah. And also having the agency to say, okay, I went that far to be like, I'm going to do it this way. Like,
but I have veto power.
Exactly. That's really a powerful way, I think, to get through life.
It's perfect. Okay, so you were born in Alabama, but I know you were raised in, is it Indiana till 10 and then moved to LA? Yeah. And your family is Armenian, but also of Syrian descent, at least on one side of your family?
Yeah, so they're Armenian, landed in Syria, in Aleppo during the genocide. So been there for 100 years. And every summer of my life, I went to Syria. So I was baptized in Syria.
Spent summers in Aleppo.
Mm-hmm.
Will you tell us a bit how you got to be where you are now?
So yeah, my mom's side of the family is all like puppeteers, musicians, singers, and theater actors. So that's what they did. Like, and that's like generations of it. So my great grandfather was a shadow puppeteer.
That's
for
cool.
Oh,
and,
wow.
and we have like the largest collection my sister's unearthed from the attic in the last few years. And now it's like, you know, UNESCO recognized the largest shadow puppet collection that's like in perfect, pristine condition that he brought from Armenia. We plan on getting a book together and finding a way to share it because those shadow puppets were a way for people to tell political stories or talk about things you could not talk about 100 years ago. So anyway, so we have this big artistic
tradition,
and we have scientists, right? There's like a quantum physicist, and my dad's side is science as well. And so it's this juxtaposition, which is exactly what I am. I left high school early. I ended up going to all women's school, Mills College. And when I got there, I was like, oh, I'm going to do their like biology track. It's like a 7-year thing. And there's a really high percentage that you'll get into a medical program if you do this thing. So I started out that way, but I wasn't prepared to study like that. Mm-hmm. I was like really excited they have a contemporary music center there, the Tape Center.
Legendary.
Yeah. So I took some music classes. I was taking science classes. You'd hear this crazy sound coming out of the hall over there. And you're like, what is that? And then I remember one time walking in and someone on their harp. And they had like all this stuff connected to a computer. And it was just like, whoa.
Wow.
Yeah, making these fucked up.
I was like, I don't know what this is, but I love this, you know? And I started taking tape editing and all this stuff with Maggie Payne, and just I didn't even know what was happening. There was a room with just a huge wall-sized Moog synthesizer. I'm like, what is this? Patching this and that, like.
And at this time, you were a pianist or had studied piano as a kid, or like what was your musical?
So as a kid, we all had to take piano lessons, and my sisters were really, really good, and I just really felt tripped up on the bass clef, which is so funny. I was just like, it's upside down. I just don't understand what's happening for some reason. And so my teacher would play the thing, and so I had an adaptation. It was like I was struggling to grasp the bass clef, so my brain took over and was like, okay, how, like almost out of fear of like, why am I not getting this? And I think when like your body is pumping with that kind of adrenaline, like it's going to find a way. And I think it's a really cool thing. It's, I can't do this, so I'll find a way to do it. I work around and just like looking at her play, and then I just mimic it. And so I got really good at like listening, and it was cool because I realized that I was powerful enough that I could figure a way out whenever I couldn't do it in the quote unquote normal or expected way. And I think that was really a defining experience for me, like a finding out moment about what I'm capable of. That's where the music part started, and I would record myself. My workaround on this part was like, okay, I don't really want to practice for hours. I'm a child. So my brain was like, I have this tape recorder, so I'm going to record myself doing it correctly. I'm going to do multiple takes where I do it incorrectly. And instead of practicing, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to push play, and then I'm going to rewind and go to this section. It's so funny. And I'm just like in that room right now.
It's so interesting that now what your performances are is often you alone with your equipment.
Yeah.
Looping and so it's literally exactly the same.
Yeah.
That's a really good point, because I had to be I had thanks for that, like saying that back to me and like showing me that, because live, it really is, there are things I'm going to hit. There's things I'm always going to do. But my performances, I have to be really aware. Like I become very focused of my environment, and I've got 6 things going on at once in my mind. I'm very aware of it. It's the only time where I become quite linear, and all my thoughts that are like, I've got so many avenues start to become one lane next to each other, like a swimming pool. Yeah. I just like tap into something and I'm listening and I'm just like, okay, I'm going to do this and that. So there's just,
is it like a peaceful experience playing live?
It really is. It really is.
Because of that, because you feel like everything just finds its...
I think it's a drug in a way for me and like a real challenge to focus myself that way. It really is. And I look at it like almost like a ballet. Every time it's different, and there's so much going on, and it all slows down. I love to perform. I'm going on and on right now because I love it. I love to perform.
Okay, can we talk about this new album?
Yeah, let's do it.
We do a feature every episode, Record of the Week, my Record of the Week. And your track, Anthem for Those Who Know, was on the 2nd episode. I loved it and introduced Trish.
Yeah.
Right.
And we were like, we got to get that song on
I know.
here.
It's just I love that song. I do a Record of the Week, every year. And it was my first one in January this year.
Thank you.
I love it.
Big fan.
Great. And I love your Calm
much.
Chaos EP.
Thank you.
I wanted to talk about that. And that
let's do that.
the Armenian song,
Odar, which is actually called Odaruchun. Which means to live in otherness. But
tell us a bit about that. Is it like traditional folk song?
Yeah, it's a post-genocide oral tradition song that was passed around. I really wanted to sing Odar because, one, I grew up singing it, and I grew up hearing my aunts and uncles singing it, like so many Armenian songs. And it's a very haunting song about the idea of living in otherness and that experience of diasporan experience. God, I'm so serious. I have to say, I just want to say really quickly that I'm the most silly, most joyful person. But my work is really serious. And I fear that like people hear me talk about stuff and it's like, Jesus, someone just put on Chapel Roan, who I love, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I love. We were just talking about Chapel Roan.
Obsessed.
We love
Me
her, but
too.
I think that most people who like either have really lighthearted music are often like quite deep thinking people. And many times the deep thinking people have lighthearted music and vice versa. Like the two are opposite sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
Because you can't really be funny and joyful unless you understand the dark side.
Probably like a comedian.
I think so. I think so.
That's the thing. Like, so I really do work it out in the music. But this whole sapphic, like the lesbian celebration or the queer celebration, I've been a fan since last October of Chapel. My sister introduced me and she's 14 years younger than me. So we listened to it and I'm just like, wow, I'm just overcome with how joyful these women are celebrating, whether it's Muna or it's Romy from the XX or it's Chapel or whoever or Billy, like the way they're so fearlessly able to celebrate their queerness
on their own terms.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm driving down the freeway and I don't know why I'm crying. And it's like percolating, listening to Pink Pony Club.
Pink Pony Club. I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club. I'm gonna keep on dancing down in West Hollywood. I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club. Pink Pony Club.
And I realized this is a generation who can feel safe in doing this. But when I was 14, just turned 15, I was assaulted for being gay. And they assaulted the gay right out of me. And I put that away. And I'd come out when I was 10. And I've never told anybody what I just said.
Wow.
But it's okay. I'm such a private person. But this is something I wouldn't even have spoken on. But I'm so moved by this wave of celebration of queerness.
Yeah.
Also, like, I'm Middle Eastern. I'm
Right.
Armenian.
Right.
This is not accepted in our culture.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful because my parents, when they saw at the start of the pandemic that I was falling apart, like a year before, and I said to my mom, I'm choosing to not be this way because I'm afraid that I'm going to lose you guys and you're not going to accept me. And they were like, we don't care what you are. Like, their revolution as Armenian parents is extraordinary. There's just been so much fucking healing.
All these women, it's just so matter of fact. It's, I am who I am. This is the music I'm going to make. I'm not on a platform. I'm not on a soapbox or whatever. Like back in the day for me, it was like these people had a voice and I felt that they had to get up on the soapbox to represent. And now it's, I am who I am. This is the music I make. And I love that.
And I agree. And now I feel, thank you, Chapel, Muna, whoever,
Billy,
because you just did it.
And everyone's listening to their music. No one's batting an eyelash.
Chapel Roan's rise, she's got what, almost 40 million Spotify plays? Like she had less than 100,000 last fall.
Yeah. It's meteoric.
It's meteoric.
I love that.
Public platform thing.
And you're right that it doesn't need to be this kind of tortured thing.
No.
And there is this kind of effortlessness to, say, Chapel Roan especially, where she's campy, but it doesn't feel forced or performative. She's the ultimate performer. And yet somehow you just feel like you're seeing the inside of her brain at work for everyone. Like it doesn't feel overwrought. Yeah. Even though it's so incredibly outrageous and exquisite. And so there is something awesome about, guess what? It doesn't have to be a show. It can just be you being you and people who want to listen.
And that's what is so refreshing about this whole, even if we call it a movement.
It's permission, like you said, for other people. And it doesn't have to be other musicians, but whatever someone's doing in their life. Yeah. Permission, just go out and do it. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need anyone's approval. You don't need to do it the way the other guy did it. You don't have to do it the way the people who came before you did it.
I don't need permission. I don't need that anymore. That part I let go from my culture. It's like, I don't need permission. I think just it feels really good to talk about it because Anthem for Those Who Know is an anthem for those who know.
Yeah.
Who
Now
know
we
about
know.
these things. Not just my story. My story is for me, right? But it's an anthem for those who know about a thing that you are fighting for, the right to be, the right to just exist, the right to not have to have permission.
I just want to going back, just to ask about your musical influences.
Yeah.
Who are they? What are they?
I love classical music. So I like post-classical, anything electronic, down-tempo. I really listen to a lot of instrumental. One of my favorite things right now is just I've been deep diving back in the Arrival film's soundtrack. I'm just
Johan
obsessed.
Johansson.
Yes, obsessed.
What you're talking about musically is exactly my
Yeah.
favorite kind of music.
Yes.
The Oliver Arnolds, Neil
Yes.
Fromm. I
Yes.
just love
Max Richter.
all that's the kind of music that I want to listen to these
It's what I
days.
would-
And that's how
exactly.
your music spoke to me because I just felt it fell into that land.
I feel honored to hear that. This is like what I love. But then on the other side of that, like my influences, I have a really important person in my life who introduced me to Autechre and Aphex and all this
Love
stuff.
that.
And they had a mute sticker on their laptop when we were like 15. So I always
And then you ended up
on
on
mute. And they introduced me to mute. So it was really cool. But like Mo's
Yeah.
Finally We Are No One or that early Seguros or any of that,
Yeah.
like Bjork. She's been really supportive of my work. I love anything that is going to make me feel something.
Yeah.
So cinematic and crazy sound design. On the other side of that is like someone like Chappell or these really exciting, juicy pop stuff. But yeah, my influences are just like really hyper emotional. It's not just
pretty
one
big
thing.
range.
Yeah.
Didn't you say once your dad listened to show tunes too or something?
Oh yeah, my dad is a major, not show tunes, Nat King Cole.
Oh, Nat King Cole. Okay.
My
yeah.
dad that's a big one. Like my real voice is singing in that style.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm definitely
Really?
gonna do a covers album. I'm gonna do
Oh.
this for him. Like this is my gift to him.
Like an old timey.
yeah,
I bet your voice actually would sound great
Yeah.
singing those.
like Smile. Like
yeah.
Yeah.
this is just like really simple. But that's actually how I learned to sing. I
Mm.
think that and Dolly Parton.
Fair.
That's how I found out how I could sing from the Beverly Hills
Really?
film. And then she's singing a song that I don't think they ever released, but I don't even know the words right now, but it's, you ain't got a thing if you ain't got love. This song. I was like, my parents were like, you can sing. I was
You
like,
can.
I can't
You
sing.
can pull
I
off
have a twang.
a twang.
I have a real twang in my voice.
Wow.
You'll hear it on this new album and it accidentally comes out. And it's
Really?
oh my God.
Your
I can't-
Alabama's
what?
showing a little bit?
Oh, girl. I was like, it's there.
I love that.
It's there. I think because just from hearing it as like for 1 year.
It worked its way in.
Yeah. Like really seriously.
Wow.
That is something I didn't see coming.
Yeah. God, I was just naturally can just have an accent. Like, it's so easy for me. Yeah, it's really funny.
That is great.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Shall I make us a cocktail?
Yeah. Come on.
So I've made a cocktail. I like to make a cocktail for each episode or a mocktail. This one's got booze. And it's called the Calm Chaos because it's got a little something spicy and a little something sweet. It's got a little something that calms your stomach, like ginger, and a little something that's more acidic, the apple. So it's a ginger apple cocktail because of the contrast between calm and the chaos.
I love that.
So cheers to you.
Cheers.
Thank you, and to you.
It might not taste good because I make them up and I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, a little bit medicinal.
A little more chaos than calm, it turns out.
The after aromas that are happening that
It's
are
pretty
like
herbal.
it's really good. It's strong on the front end.
Yes,
It is medicinal. It's feeling a
it is
little
very
like,
medicinal.
but then it's very
You know-
aromatic. There's a lot of aromatic.
I wonder if
experience
I
happening.
put like an apple floater because I have like sparkling apple. Hold on, we're going to do that.
That's a
next.
great. That's
'Cause
gonna
needs
do
a
it.
little-
That's gonna do it.
Okay. I'm back. So take 2. We've added a little bit of Martinelli's.
Okay.
Because what classy cocktail doesn't have Martinelli's on top? So let's see how this is now. Oh, fuck. That's even worse.
It's less medicinal.
No, it's
No, that's undrinkable, you guys.
no, it's not. No, it's not.
It's not undrinkable.
Yes, it is.
It's not one of your best.
But
Best.
but
Best.
I'm going with undrinkable.
either way, I have to tell you, it really like warms my heart. Like I'm really grateful for y'all. And the fact that you named this cocktail after probably the most favorite piece I've ever made is KAOSS.
I love that.
Calm, stay calm. Calm, stay calm.
I love that song. So thank you for naming a cocktail
Now
after
listen,
it.
I'm feeling it's not as bad now as it was at the top.
Mix it with the apple garnish.
What's not as bad?
The cocktail,
I
try it
agree.
again. I
all
feel
right.
like maybe it's just me willing it to not be as bad as it was, but I feel like it's grown on me a little.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
No,
Yes.
like
It's just,
I like to raw dog things.
yeah.
Like I
At a girl.
It's definitely lost its medicinal feeling. It's
Mhm.
sweeter.
mm-hmm. It has
You know what I should
yeah.
have done instead of the Martinelli's? Added. Martinelli's was clearly the wrong call, but I think maybe
Ew.
ginger beer could have helped it.
But see, I like how you're just making it up as you go.
Oh my gosh. Every week,
She makes it up as she goes.
she makes a new
Yeah.
cocktail every week.
Mhm.
And I would say 85%, 90%
Uh-huh.
are bloody brilliant.
Okay.
And that 10% are horrible. No, they're not.
They're drinkable,
But
no,
they're
not.
they're fine.
I've made several that are not drinkable.
Mm.
So you know what the Armenian word for this is?
for apple?
Yeah.
No.
Khn. Khnsor.
Unso.
You're good at like
Khnsor.
hearing. Khnsor.
Khnsor.
Like
So
an R at the end?
So a TSOR.
It's just
It's like
So
Unso.
khn.
Khun.
Khn.
Khun.
Sor.
Sor.
Khnsor.
Does it mean like apple, earth?
It
Pear.
just means apple.
It just means apple.
exactly. Okay.
It feels sexy to say it in Armenian.
Khnsor.
Now, something we like to do
All right.
is ask all of our guests. We are 100% aware that nobody has one favorite song or one favorite movie.
I do.
You do?
I do.
You're the first one who hasn't been like, well, this question, I don't know. It depends on the time you. So, what's your favorite?
My favorite song of all time, a thing that will be played at my funeral,
Yeah.
is Idiotech by Radiohead.
Oh, that's a tune.
It is, but I'm surprised that that's your favorite. I
Well,
mean,
one
I
of
love
my
it
biggest
too.
influences
Okay.
is radio.
That makes sense.
Hearing Kid A
Yeah.
when like I'm in high school, it was like, what the fuck? Oh my God. So Idiotech.
Idiotech.
So what about favorite film?
I have to tell you, I'm loving this cocktail.
You know what? I've started loving it too.
It's just-
Me
yeah,
three.
this
I'm
is
kind
just
of
really good.
Now I love it. Let's go back in and like acknowledge that it wasn't quite as well. Maybe it was as terrible.
But it's
Guys, if you
Oh.
make this cocktail at home, just power through the first like 3 or 4 sips, and then you're home free.
But that's, I think, the way life is.
Power through the first 3 or 4 sips.
Yes. And then you get to this place where it is just really good. But favorite film, it's not going to be that cool, but it's Arrival.
Oh, yeah. You already mentioned that you love the
Yeah.
score. Is it
Yeah.
the score or is it the
It
whole
is
thing?
the entire thing.
Okay.
And I like to forget and then a few years later watch it again. I am devastated in the most beautiful way by the cyclical nature, that science of what's happening.
Yeah.
It incorporates a new kind of language and that communication of something that appears to be scary and it is very unknown, but it's actually there to bring this beautiful message from the future, the spiritual like lesson
Yeah.
in the end. the idea that you're confronted with something terrifying, but if you can just go up to it, it will give you this. I love the science of how she decodes a language and puts together how the visual becomes an actual spoken language, the humanity of it, of the child and the couple, and then, of course, those voices and, and the composition and how that all comes together. I feel like that's life.
This is making me need to go see Arrival again. I haven't seen it. I think since it came out.
It is an elegant film.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tonight
really
I'm
is.
watching
It's a book.
I'd like to watch it again. Yeah.
It's amazing.
KÁRYYN, it's been an absolute joy. Thank you for all your amazing stories and wonderful insights.
Yeah.
And thank you for all of your beautiful music.
Love your music.
We love it.
Can't wait to hear the new album.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't wait. I really appreciate you having me on, and I had a really good afternoon.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, thank you. Thanks for
Us
joining
too.
us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Come back and see us again.
Yeah, I'd love to.
ASAP.
Okay. Sounds good.
And Liz is offering to be your manager, by the way.
Oh, great.
So it's favorite thing time, and it's you. You're up this week, Trish. What's your favorite thing?
This week, I am listening, well, I just finished listening to a book on Audible called The Age of Magical Overthinking, written by Amanda Montell, came out in 2024, just this year. It's gotten a lot of attention for being one of these highly acclaimed, buzzy books. It is really fascinating. This woman has written a couple of other books, one of which is on cults. She's kind of a specialist in sort of the psychology of cults and cult thinking and cult leaders.
I think her dad was in a cult.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Because you're listening to this book too,
I
right?
am. I'm only up to chapter 4.
Well, it just gets better and better
Right.
in my mind. And I don't want to describe it too much. It's better to just listen to this book. But she goes through a lot of the sort of cognitive biases and cognitive mistakes that we make as human beings. And it was the perfect blend of like inspiring and educational. And you can learn a lot about your own mind and about the mistakes that your own brain makes so that you can just be a better thinker and a better person in the world. But she tells really interesting stories. She has a great voice.
Yeah.
Both like a literal voice because she reads the book herself, but also her
She's a
thinking
really
voice.
good writer.
She's a great writer. It's just a really excellent book. She apparently has a couple of podcasts as well. I haven't checked these out yet, but there's a companion podcast to the book. It's called Magical Overthinkers. And then she also has a podcast on cults. I think it sounds like a cult.
Yeah, we listen to that. It's
Do you guys
really
listen to
good.
that?
Really good.
I mean, I know Kathleen has read the book, and Kathleen has recommended these podcasts. So I just think anyone needs an interesting read or listen, check it out. It's really, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm only 4 chapters in, but I'm loving it. It's really good.
It's tasty.
Yeah, good choice.
Thanks.
It's tarot time, and you've been having a shuffle over there.
I
in
have
the
been
corner,
shuffling.
and the cards keep jumping out.
My cards are really jumpy today. Yeah. That just happens sometimes. Sometimes it's me and my energy. In fact, it probably always is me and my energy. But sometimes my decks just feel jumpy to me.
Should you use that card that jumps out? Is it telling you something?
People have different opinions on that. I generally tend to think I can feel when a card really leaps out and it's like, whoa. And then I can feel when I'm just being sloppy or distracted.
Right.
I think today it's more me being sloppy and distracted. But, you know, sometimes cards do leap out, or you find a card from a deck and you're like, why is this card in my bathroom sink? Cards do weird things sometimes. But I think today I'm just being sloppy.
Okay. Well, let's
All right.
let's pick one.
Let's pick a card for this week.
Here we go. It is.
Oh, we got the Temperance card this week.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
nice?
The Temperance card. Well, listen, you know what I think about
I know.
good
I
and
didn't
bad
say
cards.
is it good or bad. I said is it nice?
That's true, because some cards are not nice. No, the Temperance card is, I think everybody would say, a really nice card. It's a card about, it's interesting because we got the 2 of Pentacles last week. This card is also a little bit about balance and about finding sort of the synergy of 2 things and finding where your equilibrium is. A lot of times this card is about synthesizing different things to make something better. For instance, in our current political situation where there are so many extreme thinkers, sometimes this card is about taking the extremes and blending them to make a third thing that is a sort of a productive byproduct of two opposites or something like that. It's sort of an alchemical card that way.
Yeah.
So I think this card is kind of urging us all to think bigger, to not think in binary black and white terms, but to more think about how things can blend. There's a really interesting Instagram page called Art Blend that I've just discovered where it's so satisfying, blending different colors of paint. And they'll take two colors that you don't think should blend, like bright pink and mint green, and make a shade of white out of them. But I think that that's the perfect visual to go with this card. It's sort of about taking two things you don't necessarily think go together, and they make something new and magical. So maybe thinking a little bit deeper, thinking a little bit bigger, being a little bit more open-minded, but also very calm and balanced, a sort of easy come, easy go feeling to this week. Things are getting intense in the world, so let's all channel it maybe into something creative and exalted versus just getting bogged down in it all.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Liz, I am so in the mood for a record of the week. Please say you bring me something good today.
I think I've got something you might like. It's by a band called Shannon and the Clams.
Well, I like that name.
Yeah. And the song is called The Vow. It's from their latest album released in May called The Moon is in the Wrong Place. It's produced by Dan Auerbach, who is in the Black Keys. And he has a record label called Easy Eye Sound. There was some great artists on that. They're on that label. They have like a cool vintage sound. It has doo-wop, R&B. I can hear like 60s girl groups in their music. They're really cool. They're a really interesting band. Shannon Shaw, the lead singer, lost her fiancé in a car accident weeks before they were due to get married.
Oof.
I know. And this project, she said, is a holistic exploration of grief and celebration of life. This is the first track on the album, and I just was immediately locked in when I heard this track. It's really cool. I want to thank Karen Cloak and Steve Kim at Concord for making this happen for us to be able to use it.
This sounds like a special one, and it sounds stylistically right up my alley.
Yeah, I think you'll love it.
Can't wait to hear it. Thank you for digging this up for us.
You're welcome.
And I guess
we'll see you next Tuesday.
Yes, right on cue.
Beautiful guy with the sun in your eyes. I've been waiting for your love. Now you're all mine for all time. You're so much more than I knew I could ask still is. It was so divine. Yes, it seems like it's over, but forever young.
On Cue is produced and edited by Kathleen Gallagher.